what we need to do is we actually need to just go through the procedure of his lieutenant governor, going through those motions. Rob, if you could...
So under our bylaws, we talked about this earlier, our gubernatorial candidate, I mean, I presume you're announcing the result of the election, is that?
Yeah, so it was tight. Ken won by like 2 votes. I mean, It was really a tight race. So everybody who came, this is one of those where your vote probably did count. So anyway, that said, it kind of was leaked by Andy earlier that Rob, as I like to call it, the risk mitigation portion of the candidacy for the governor for the Libertarian Party, Rob Latham is going to be his lieutenant governor. So let's just move to that section,
right.
Rob.
So just the convention needs to affirmatively ratify the nominee for lieutenant governor. And if we don't do that, I guess we can always consider other people. So anybody want to make movement to suggest Rob as lieutenant governor? Okay, second. Any seconds? Okay, let's put that to a vote. Yeas in favor of Rob for lieutenant governor. Okay, nays. Okay, Rob, welcome. Thank you. He is literally our insurance policy. A heartbeat away.
So. Okay, so that said, we've actually had a bunch of people come to support us outside as well. Some of them are speakers, some of them are just organizations here that we are glad because they're supporting us, and we wanted to give them a moment. So, Mark, are people ready to come up? Okay, come on up. It's all you. We'll give them about 5 minutes, okay? If you need that.
All right, so I'm here with an organization called SlutWalk, specifically the Salt Lake branch of SlutWalk. And SlutWalk is an international movement of protests against sexual assault, victim blaming, and rape culture. So, in our society, when someone is raped, they disproportionately will not report it. According to the Utah Department of Health, 88% of rapes go unreported. There are somewhat lower statistics on a national level, but it's still dangerously high. And this is largely because when someone reports being sexually assaulted, their personal life, their private voluntary decisions are scrutinized. Their privacy is violated. Why do we as a society, rather than standing against those who commit aggression and standing up to those who are the victims of aggression, decide to scrutinize, to pry, to attack, and to smear those who report that they have had their rights to bodily autonomy violated? The Libertarian Party is founded here on the principle of self-ownership and non-aggression. It is founded on the idea that you own your body and that you do not have the right to assault others and to violate their bodily autonomy. Sexual assault is a direct violation of the non-aggression principle, and this is why I am here to say that the Libertarian Party of Utah is welcome to, and all its members are welcome to join us in a movement to create a culture that empowers the victims of sexual violence and that stands against victim blaming wherever it happens, whether the victim of sexual assault is a sex worker, whether the victim of sexual assault is a promiscuous woman, whether the victim of sexual assault is a gay man, whether the victim of sexual assault was assaulted in an immigration detention center or a prison where they were incarcerated for whatever reason, whether the victim of sexual assault faced an inappropriate strip search from a police officer. We must stand for the bodily autonomy of all individuals. We must create a culture that is compassionate and respectful towards those who have been assaulted. And we must cease this culture that legitimizes rape and trivializes the experiences of sexual assault survivors. Thank you.
Nathan, how old are you?
19.
Yeah, you're my favorite Utah Libertarian under 20 for sure. Super smart. Okay, and then who else? Do we have the peace guys? Okay, come on up here. And it's Dane, right?
Yes.
Good. Great, come on up. I'll let you do the introductions. You know your organization better than me.
We want to thank the Libertarian Party, and we want to thank Mark for inviting the Wasatch Coalition for Peace and Justice to be here today. I think we agree in opposition to U.S. wars around the world, wasting lives and resources, helping corporations plunder the planet. I think we also agree that we have to fight the corporate Democrat, Republican, two-party system to make any kind of significant change in government policies. The Wasatch Coalition for Peace and Justice has a table out in the hall, and we have information about our group and our concerns, and we invite you to check it out if you're interested. Thank you.
Where's Jeff? Okay, so do we have any other anybody else coming up from the tables?
I think the other ones are speakers. So.
Okay, great. So now to the peace point and pacifism. Our next speaker actually I know him from his work with City Weekly. Good journalist. And they actually misquoted me. They said that I called libertarians Republicans that smoke pot. And that is not my quote. I have to give proper credit. That's Drew Carey who came up with that joke. My definition of a libertarian, which I think is relevant to what Dane was saying, is that I like to think of us as pacifists that will punch you back. I think it kind of really neatly summarizes the non-aggression principle. That we're essentially peace-loving people. I think that's important. I think it's important to identify ourselves as to what we are, not what we aren't, with regards to non-aggression. I think we are pacifists that will punch you back. That said, this is a very interesting party. It's such a big tent, right? Freedom-loving people, the thing about if you really love freedom for yourself, you realize you have to grant it to others. And that means you're going to have other people that you don't agree with, but as long as they're doing stuff that doesn't really affect you, c'est la vie. You just leave them alone. I mean, you can use your First Amendment right to say it's silly or whatever, but that's a whole different issue.